Guys, as always, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please put them in the chat or unmute yourself. You have that ability throughout this entire training. And remember, as I was mentioning to the people that were here a little bit earlier, I'm going to change these trainings up a little bit to try and give the nitty-gritty details in a separate video that I will share out at the end of the presentation. I'm going to kind of stay at the high level here and just talk about the general concepts of the way I think that we should be operating and tools and tactics that I'm using and implementing in my business on a daily basis to assist, especially in the market that we're dealing with right now. So today we're going to go over a couple things. So I'm going to go real high at the point of giving a game plan. Then we're going to go into what unemployment is meaning to the marketplace right now. After that, we're going to talk about what the market means and what we mean to the market. And then last, we'll kind of go into what I consider a double down feature. And I'll share out that additional training to everybody that's still on the class. All right, so guys, what does it mean to create a game plan? So creating the daily action plan is really key in this timeline. So I went through and I created an actual best case week for my team to show them what I felt were things that were needed as we go through this daily process of figuring out, okay, when do I need to be doing things? How do I need to be doing things? And so on and so forth. For all the people that really talk to me on a regular basis, you know that I feel as though when we're working from home, we're having the issue of being distracted by our families, being distracted by the TV that we're used to going and sitting down and just relaxing for a few moments, being distracted by the fact that the refrigerator is full of food and we might have that opportunity to just get up and snack on a regular basis. So we have to be very cautious about giving in to those distractions. So finding an environment that makes you more productive is key. Now, one of those items that can be really respectful is creating an action plan on a daily basis, or having an action plan go into plan every single day. So some of those things that you want to add onto that action plan: prospecting timeline. You need to know when and how many contacts you're going to be making on a regular basis, right? So make sure that you're actually making those prospecting phone calls, because those prospecting phone calls may not be feeding your business today, but they will be feeding your business down the line. And it is imperative that you're following a really good regimen of making those prospecting phone calls. I'm making mine, and I know that they are paying off in dividends, because not only are they creating contracts right now, but they are creating contacts for the future. All right. The other thing is script practicing. Okay. Guys, this is really key, because a lot of people, using Nick's, it's muscle memory, Nick's, relevance of the fact that a soldier is a soldier because of the muscle memory that is created through their training. They can learn to shoot with their eyes either not completely open, or at least knowing how to aim while their eyes are closed, because whenever you fire, it tends to make you squeeze your eyes. It's muscle memory that allows you to keep them open during things like that. The same kind of concept goes into when you're making your prospecting phone calls, is that if you continuously, actively, proactively practice that scripting, then you'll be able to respond correctly, and you'll be able to respond with something that's going to be proactive in getting the transaction to the next point. This also comes down to scripting with your transactions as well. Right now, we are dealing with a lot of lenders that are delayed. We're dealing with a lot of appraisers that are delayed. If you go through that script practicing, that is going to be beneficial. Now, it doesn't have to be with somebody else. It should be, my perception, but it can also just be on a video call. Record yourself. Know how your mannerisms work. Know what works and what does not. We've gone through a lot of neuro-linguistic programming training and understand that that means a lot to the person on the other side of now the screen or on the other side of the conversation. So know how to use those things and know how to perceive the way that you are being perceived on the other side of the screen. So send that video to a friend, send that video to a family member, somebody that maybe can give you critiquing without you being taken offense to it. And then practice and practice and practice, and it will get better and better every time you do so. The next part is making sure that you're checking in on your database. This is really key right now, because your database is scared. They have a lot of negative attributes going on out there. So if you're connecting with them on a regular basis, they are going to be more in tune with you and make sure that if they talk to anybody, that they're going to refer them back. Now, one thing that was very interesting is that a lot of families are staying in better contact today than they may have been doing 3 weeks ago. Why is this? Because they're bored out of their mind, right? And therefore, they're going to find tools and tactics to keep themselves occupied. One of those tactics is connecting with friends and family members through FaceTime, through video calls, so on and so forth. This means that you have the opportunity to create a good prospecting or referral network by them contacting their extended database and their extended sphere. The next thing is talking about that social media content, right? So Boomtown recently did a study, and they looked at what the social media context is right now. What that means is they looked at how much it costs to attract a social media customer right now rather than a standard web customer. And the cost of a social media customer has dropped dramatically to the point of almost 1 cent per click, which means that a person clicking onto whatever link you put out there is at 1 penny. Now, that's a dirt cheap click, and that means that you have now opportunity because people are on social media, but you don't have to pay for it. You can actually create organic content that will be relevant. And the rule is that you don't have to create it daily. Maybe create 4 or 5 videos that you can relay out in a scheduled format if you have a Facebook business page, and we've gone through a training on that. It's on the business page, but you can go through and create a scheduled content over a week and record only 1 day instead of recording every day, okay? But you need to have that social media content going out. Other resources for that right now are LinkedIn, also Twitter, and using some of the other platforms like Instagram, and making sure that you're using as many avenues that you can get in front of your clients as many times as possible. And remember, keep this content really positive because people are afraid of that negative aspect right now, and they're thriving and really craving that positive content. Next thing is, and last thing, obviously, daily action plan is write it out. Do not just plan this in your head. Put it on paper, write it down, and make sure that you are following it. And if you miss something, make sure that you come back to it after the next item. Don't cancel the next item and then just move on. Just make sure that you are following that action plan to a T. Now, this is me on a regular basis. And what I mean by this is everybody right now is in just a panic of understanding how the market is going to react to what we're doing, right? Be cautious of being this person, because I am this person and I have to talk myself out of it regularly. I do that by keeping myself on a plan and knowing what action items I'm going to complete on a regular basis. Now, why am I in that fashion a lot? Is because I've been reading Luz, I've been going through those details. Don't do that if it's going to take you down. So I've kind of trying to restrict myself to that headline terror mongering that is being put out there. Be cautious about those headlines, because this is one that I'm going to talk about in a second. So unemployment is frightening, right? The national headlines on this is we're going to have 15% unemployment and the market's going to go to crap. Truth and reality is unemployment actually serves a very small part of the housing market. So I told you guys about this last time. I love keeping current matters because I think it really gives the meat to the principle, right? So this is on the blue lines are the current or existing home sales overall, okay? The yellow line is the unemployment rate that the United States is currently impacted by, okay? Now, what I want you to pay attention to here, and if you get into the article under Keeping Current Matters, they actually talk about 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm just gonna show you the baseline of all these items. If you will notice, the home sales do not directly correlate with the actual unemployment rate. So while unemployment rate is great right now, it will probably get much worse, and therefore we don't have to really worry about it affecting what it actually means in the classification of home sales. So understand that while it has a little bit of a connection in 2000, 2001, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, more than that, for the most part, as unemployment's been going down, house sales haven't necessarily been going up. And as unemployment went up, didn't necessarily knock down home sales, okay? So just remember that a lot of times that unemployment basis, and that fear mongering created by headlines does not mean what it actually means to home sales. Now, this is what I mean by that, right? So this is one of those fear mongering points. In 2013, we were sitting at 6.7% of an unemployment rate. As of a month ago, unemployment was sitting at 2 to 3%, right? So 2020, they're estimating, now this is based on Goldman Sachs, is estimating that 15% will come into play, right? 15%, that's a lot of unemployment, right? They're really concerned about it. But they're also estimating the fact that it will rebound really quickly as those retail jobs take back that employment, and as the Payroll Protection Act or payroll protection loans go into place and pull back those employees because they want those forgivable loans. So remember, even though this sounds really bad, if you'll notice, the rebound is almost immediate and should correct itself very quickly. The only people that they say that this will not correct are those people that have become reliant and enjoy that unemployment, right? Oh, I lost my video. Hold on. Ruh-roh. All right, so I'm going to go through the rest of this with no video, apparently. But basically, guys, what it comes down to is, let me see if I can fix this real quick. It does not appear so. There we go. Okay, got it. All right, so the last thing is doubling down. So making sure that we know what we mean. I'm sorry, the first part is avoiding the headlines to pay attention to the need for the market. What I mean by this, guys, is you don't maybe realize what you mean to the marketplace, and I want that to be relative. Now, Norma said Nextdoor is a great one as well. Nextdoor, Norma, do you want to give some input on what that means? I'm not following with connection to clients, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's another social media
yeah.
app that it's
neighborhood
really
specific.
neighborhood. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it can really show some value in what's going on. So as I mentioned, guys, avoid those negative headlines, because a lot of times people forget that real estate is an essential point. Now, we've been pushing this out, right? We're essential, and people make funny memes about it. But why are we essential is really something to take into account, and also to share with your database. Why is it so important that real estate agents are staying intact, right? All we do is sell homes. That's not a big deal, but it is a major deal when you look at the actual numbers to what it means. And what I mean by that is this, guys. Look at this. This is the average economic impact of one simple sale by state, right? So in Texas and in New Mexico, every sale that we have equates to $80,000 in economic impact into the marketplace. In New Mexico, it's $67,000 economic impact into the market. Now, why is this so imperative? Because you guys got to realize that you need to create the value that they are telling us that we are worth. Why would it be that real estate would be added into an essential marketplace? And the reason is because real estate tends to be the one focal point that changes the entire economic direction. Why would it be that people would be creating graphs that show the difference between unemployment and real estate? That is because it is so imperative that marketplaces realize that we have a large economic impact into the marketplace. Now, this graph is a great graph. This is also from Keeping Current Matters. This is a great graph to take and put into the social media market to show, hey, I am not only valuable, but I'm valuable to the entire marketplace. Create a video content. Now, one thing that I want you all to realize, and I know like Norma is not a huge fan of video content. Well, just have a voiceover as you're running through slides is the same thing as video content, right? I prefer, obviously, that you operate in the basis of this, right? But it doesn't mean you have to. You can create a slideshow and just do a voiceover of that slideshow and still give a lot of impact, and you don't have to have your face on the video. So just something to think about. Go out different ways about it. You can achieve a lot of different things with different directions, okay? And then the last thing is, guys, find avenues that make you a resource to the community and to your database. Now, I'm gonna share a video out in just a moment, so this will come through that text message. And basically what it comes down to is I am going to share how I'm able to text. The last text I sent out to everybody was 44 texts. I sent that out in a matter of a minute to each of you individually on an individual text chain. Now, why is this so important? Is because when people receive text chains where there's 20 or 30 people, there's two problems to that. The first being that if anybody doesn't like you, they can reply to that entire text chain and it looks as a derogatory. That's one. Two, it also means that you are not focusing on them, right? So this is a great tool that will show you how to text out to a large portion of your database. The highest number that I've sent out at one time is 105. I don't know if you can go higher than that. I'm sure you can. But the most I've sent out at one time is 105. And it is a pretty simple process. But I created a video that I will post out right now into the chat. And I will also send it out through the text message. Let's see if I grab it here. So here is the link to that video. And that will show you how to send out a text message, how to create, and it has to be on an iPhone, guys. I'm sorry, I don't have an Android, so I haven't figured out how to do it on an Android. I'm sure there's a method, but you'll have to figure that out. Guys, my best friend is YouTube, so if you need to learn how to do something, follow, type it into YouTube and follow a couple of the links. This will show you how to create a shortcut on your phone that will allow you to send out a large amount of text messages to a group with individual chains, okay? Other than that, guys, I just want everybody to realize that there is a lot of value right now in the marketplace if we find where we can get it from, okay? So make sure you're creating that voice content. If anybody would like what I have created as a, let me put it up here. So I created a basic, best week file. Let me show that to you. If anybody would like a copy of this, I'm happy to share this. This is something I built out for my team that just shows the Agent Perfect week. And it just talks about what we're gonna do, what we're gonna offer. It's just putting everything in a plan, everything kind of broken down. If you would like a copy of that, please text me on the text that I sent out just a few moments ago. Just say, hey, I would love a copy. And as a last reminder, on Wednesday at 12 o'clock, in the greater El Paso Board of Realtors, and I strongly suggest that normally you put one out for the Las Cruces Association of Realtors, that we send out a message. We're just gonna have a roundtable of everybody talking about what is going good for them right now, what is working for them, and that way we have some real benefit and we can maybe pick up a few things that might be working for other people. Because remember, guys, there's 100% of market share and no one person in the market currently has more than a 2% market share. So the answer is there's a lot there and everybody can provide themselves with that. So just remember as we go through that we're all trying to work towards benefiting. So if you would like both my copy of an Agent Perfect week, and if you would like to join the Zoom call, I think we're down to 35-ish seats left. If you want to attend that Zoom call on noon on Wednesday, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Just send me a text or an email on that, and I'll send you the invite. Guys, other than that, any other questions? Anybody have any real fun successes that they'd like to share? No? Nick, you got any fun stuff? Nick had to figure out how to do some exercising outside. Oh, and by the way, just to offer it to everybody, Nick is offered his services to provide some type of exercise method to your database, but you need to get with him directly so he can talk to you about that and plan it out.
Sure, I can do that. Also, just to touch on what you're saying, your body, people train usually with one eye open and they shut their non-dominant eye or their non-firing eye. And your body mechanics with your fight or flight response actually makes your body open both eyes. So just to touch on what you were saying before, you don't want to try and shut them. Your body wants to open them both because you want to look for either ways to win the fight or run away. It's just that, like back when we were fighting lions. So just throw that out there. Boom. So people train like this, but they're not going to be able to fight like that. So you want to try and train how you fight. So keep your eyes open.
Keep your eyes open, guys, especially right now in the marketplace. How do you succeed through everything is really only by practicing and making sure that you hone those skills very effectively. So make sure that you're doing those things. Make sure you're putting those things into action. Get in, watch that video. It is very impactful on how to create and send out a quick text message to everybody very quickly. And last but not least, I'm going to show you how that works. So if you hold on 2 seconds. All right, so I'm going to bring my screen on here. 2 seconds. This 460-277-414. All right, so everybody should see my screen in about 1 second. Okay, so from here, guys, if I want to send out a quick text message to everybody, this is what I'm going to share out. So if I select all this text and just say, let me grab the video real quick. Yep, it's not that. Are you not liking me? See if it works a little better this way. Of course, it never works. All right, give me 2 seconds and I'll send that out to everybody. And that way they can see the link. But basically from that, as soon as I send out this message to everybody, and I would just select who I'm sending it out to, it would populate, and apparently it does not work while I'm in share screen. It would work and send out to everybody and allow me to send out 40 messages to individuals as we go through. So quick, easy access. Watch the YouTube video. It will be text as soon as I get off the screen share. If you have any other questions in the meantime, please don't hesitate. And guys, thank you for your time and have a fantastic week. If you need anything else, I will get on a personal Zoom call and walk you through how to build this out if you have any trouble. Thank you, guys.